Hey lovely, thanks for joining me for video 3 of the Pricing and Packaging Your Offerings mini e-course. In lesson 1 you locked down who you wanted to work with and figured out who your ideal client was. In lesson 2 you figured out what products your ideal client needs from you and what you need to include in those packages. Now in lesson 3 we're shifting the focus from your client to you, the boss of your own business, and we're going to be discussing money blocks and finding the magic number. Now, when I speak to designers who are struggling with charging what they're worth in their business, I ask them why they are charging so little, and they always come back to me with a list of excuses. And often these excuses are money blocks in disguise. So I want you to take a minute and really ask yourself, are you charging what you're worth for your time and your experience? Let's, for example, take a look at how much you should be charging for a logo design. When coming up with the magic number, ask yourself these 3 super important questions. Number 1, how much of your time will be involved? And now I'm talking about how much time you're going to spend researching, how much time you're going to spend communicating with the client. That means emails and any phone calls. How much time for the initial concepts, and how much time do you think it's going to take you to make up to 3 rounds of revisions, plus supplying the style guide and any of the final file formats? So the first step is to figure out how much of your time will be involved. Number 2, how much value are you giving your client? So that means how many years of experience do you have working on branding? Over the years, how much time have you spent perfecting your craft? How much value is strategic design and branding bringing to the table? This is an important question that I think a lot of designers skip over. We just assume that we need to charge for the time, but we also have to think about the value that we're providing. Question 3. How much money do you want to make in your design business each month? I know when I first started my design business, I buried my head in the sand for too long when it came to financials. For the first few years in my business, I had no money goals and honestly had no idea how much money I made each month. It wasn't until I actually started tracking what I was making that I started to feel like a legit boss. I discovered I was actually making more money than I thought, and it gave me a really nice pat on the back and a tiny ego boost as well. Once you know your numbers, including what your monthly expenses are and how much you would like to make, you can start to take action to make it happen, and smashing goals becomes super addictive. So, those are the 3 super duper important questions you need to ask yourself when it comes to figuring out your magic number for a particular service. These questions are vital to pricing yourself correctly. So I really want to make sure you take the time to write down your answers. Hopefully after taking that action step, you will be one step closer to figuring out your magic number. Along with asking those 3 important questions, you really need to have a clear idea of your outgoings each month and a money goal to work towards. Now that's why I've come up with these 2 downloads in this lesson that I really need you to download and work on before lesson 4. And these downloads are the My Magic Number worksheet, which outlines those 3 questions, and the Mo Money monthly worksheet, which we're going to have a look at now. Let's take a look at those worksheets and the kind of answers that I need you to work through on those. So this is the magic number worksheet, which has those 3 really important questions. Now let's base my answers to these questions on a logo design. So we're coming up with the magic number for how much I should be charging for a logo design. So the number 1 question, how much of your time will be involved? So I've broken it down here. Research time, 2 hours. So that research time is looking at competitors, looking at Pinterest, perhaps having a look at fonts and stock images that I think will be aligned with that brand. Communicating with clients, emails, etc. I've allowed 2 hours for that. Initial concept. So this is the first initial logo concept. I've allowed 5 hours for that. To be honest, this will vary depending on your experience, how many years experience you've had designing logos. And then I've allowed up to 2 hours for revisions and 1 hour for final files and style guide. All up, that comes to 12 hours. Plus, I've added in a buffer because there's always an exception to the rule. We may piece out these individual time elements, but you always need to allow for someone who's going to be a little bit more particular, or perhaps something that's going to take a bit more time. So I always add in a buffer there of 2 hours. So all up, 14 hours. Now, question 2, how much value are you giving to your client? So I have 15 plus years experience as a designer. I've made thousands of clients happy who have gone on to succeed in their business, which means I must be pretty good at brand strategy and design. I'm also giving them the value of one-on-one initial consults with me and continuing email communication throughout the process, which is pretty valuable. And then at the bottom, I've got how much money I would like to make from design each month. I've got there 15,000 plus per month for design is my goal. So I really want you to sit down and go through those answers. They are vital. So then the next worksheet that I've included in the downloads is this one, the Mo Money Monthly Worksheet. At this stage, I just want you to start filling in the expenses. We will fill in the rest of the bits of this worksheet in lesson 4. So at the moment, I've just put a list of my expenses in there. Stock library subscription, MailChimp, social media scheduler, Creative Cloud, subcontractors, and any subscriptions. So from between now and lesson 4, I really just want you to focus on the expenses. Start taking note of what's going out and including them on the worksheet. In the next lesson, I'll be walking you through a case study using this Mo Money worksheet. So make sure you have yours completed, the expenses section, and have it nearby for lesson 4. So that's the logical part of the pricing process. Now I want to focus more on the emotional side of things and ask you, how much do you feel you are worth? I don't want you to be conservative or humble. Instead, I want you to stand proud and know you have a gift. You are helping someone move closer to their dreams by working with them. You are valuable. Your talent is valuable, and you are worth money. Listen to me when I say that. Now, I want you to close your eyes, pick a number, still focusing on logo design for now, and pick a number that makes your heart smile, and write it down. If you feel like no number is coming to mind, that's totally cool. And if you feel like you have some blocks when it comes to receiving Lua, you should take some time to explore that in depth. The biggest money block I have faced personally in my business is I wouldn't pay that much for a service, so why would anyone else? Well, over the years, I figured out I'm not my ideal client, and people need top-notch graphic design and branding to create a successful business. And my ideal client sees the value in what I do. How cool is that? Now, I really want you to learn from my mistake. You are not your ideal client, so you shouldn't base your pricing on what you would pay. So let's walk through a few other money blocks that I hear all the time. These are the excuses that come up when I ask designers, why are you charging so little? This is one I hear the most. I want to be flooded with work, therefore my prices need to be cheap. Okay, I hear you. But contrary to popular belief, this is more of a one-way street to burnout rather than million-dollar making promenade. The key to a successful, sustainable business is providing valuable service, and you can't do that if you're churning out loads of low-priced products. With cheap comes fast, and you cannot get high-quality design if you are churning jobs out that fast. You just can't. So the key is to streamline your business. Limit your one-to-one contact with clients because that stuff takes time, and instead charge higher prices for fewer clients. Then you can allow yourself the time to create an amazing design outcome. Another excuse I hear all the time. It's not really an excuse, but it's a complaint I get, which is also a type of money block. I keep attracting the wrong kind of client. By setting your worth low, you are going to attract clients that do not value what you do, and not being valued sucks. You can attract the right kind of clients by creating a sense of premium value. If you are selling your work at bargain basement prices, you are going to attract bargain hunters. If you offer a premium price, your tribe will see you as an expert in your field, which you totally are, and will value what you do. Another big money block, which this one I have personally suffered from as well in my journey, and that is I just need to make it perfect before I can increase my prices. So if you're waiting to update your folio or get a new website or anything like that, if you just keep putting it off, it's truth time. There is no such thing as perfect. Thinking that if you had more time or money to help make your website or folio 100% perfect is not realistic. You are not perfect, and you know what? That's okay. Your tribe wants the authentic you. That's your brand. So drop the perfection and spend more time doing and selling. Here's another money block. Set in stone pricing freaks me out. Yep, you are the boss of your business and you make the rules. So if you can't keep up with the huge flow of work coming your way, it's time to increase your prices. And if you find yourself with a little too much downtime, you have the power to quietly reduce your prices as well. Go with the flow, and remember that all of this is flexible. These prices are not set in stone. You have the power to quietly change them whenever. So those are the common money blocks I hear from designers I'm working with. The key to dealing with money blocks is to stop and realize that you actually have them. That is the biggest way to turn it around, to realize that there's resistance there, and think to yourself, is this true? Everyone who is now living the dream as a designer, making the big bucks, made these strategic changes in their business to make their dreams happen. It's your turn now. In the final lesson of this mini e-course, I will be walking you through my own Mo Money monthly worksheet and will give you set numbers of what you should be charging for specific services in your business based on your experience and expenses. Until then, keep working on those money blocks.